mother's life is in danger.
Yeah.
So, do you understand why that's not a proposition?
It's a claim that I made.
So to be fair, sorry. I
if
just want you to reproduce the
me,
question I
you're
asked
gonna
you.
have to.
Sorry. So the request I put upon you, can you reproduce the question I just asked you?
Yeah. So a debate is arguing.
So if I asked you what a debate was, you'd be doing perfect. But unfortunately, that's not the question that I fucking asked you. What is the question I just asked you? Can you reproduce this? Yes or no?
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Oh, okay. So I'll like elaborate you in. So what I asked you, right? Since you don't actually have that, the answer is no, you can't reproduce that. I asked you, what proposition are you willing to defend? Is that clear?
I just told you.
So what? Oh, so you do think the statement pro-life with exception to whether the mother's life is in danger? You think that expression expresses something that could be true or false?
So if you like use like three brain
So the question
cells,
was, you think that expression?
Sorry.
You think that expression communicates something that could be true or false?
Than what the fuck I just said.
Sorry. You think that expression communicates something that could be true or false?
Bro, I don't care about this.
Sorry. No. I understand you don't care to stay linear. That's understandable. Sorry. I understand you don't care to stay linear. Sorry. I'm completely understandable of this, but unfortunately, right, we're gonna be engaging in a linear fashion, a good faith so just a very good faith fashion, and we're not actually gonna pivot away, right? In fact, we're not actually gonna hedge our previous statements. We're actually gonna stay very orderly and clear. So to be clear, the question is, do you think the expression pro-life, with exception to the case to where the mother's life is in danger, do you think that expression communicates something that could be true or false? I'm just gonna be expecting a yes or no.
You said what?
Okay. So that was your failure to track number one. So this is why we don't use the singular mouth that God gave you. We use the two ears that God gave you. So assuming that you're using the two ears that God gave you and assuming that you're being attentive, the question was, do you think the expression pro-life with exception to when the mother's life is in danger, do you believe that expression communicates something that could be true or false?
Oh my God. Do you want to?
So it's going to be a yes or no. So a bivalent expectation is what's going to be not something. Or sorry. So I'll just put this into clear. When we're expecting yes or no, what we're not expecting is oh my God. Are you tracking that? Just to be clear.
Well, I'm not going to fucking.
Sorry. So the question was, you understand we're not expecting oh my God as an expressive response, correct?
Bro, I don't give a fuck.
Okay. So if the question was whether you cared or gave a fuck, again, you'd be like passing with flying colors, but unfortunately, you're failing terribly, right? Because that wasn't the question. So the question was, do you understand that we're not going to be expecting oh my God?
Abortion is murder.
I don't care.
Okay, so the answer is yes. You do know that. I'm gonna be charitable and hope that you actually have the brain cells to comprehend that. Okay, so now that we're under that comprehension, do you understand the question I'm asking of you?
Yeah. So all I'm defending.
So sorry. So the question wasn't whether you're going to reproduce what you're going to do, right? Because clearly you have actually been failing at that. So right now we're moving to a more orderly line of the conversation, to where we're just trying to get clear on what exact propositions you're trying to defend. I'm not exactly clear on what proposition you're trying to defend, because seemingly the expression pro-life with the exception of when the mother's life is in danger is not actually going to be a proposition that's going to be at least expressing something that's true or false. In fact, it's actually seemingly going to just be referring to a belief, and I'm not exactly sure what the belief content is there. So maybe you can demonstrate that. Maybe that's a wonderful route to go. What exactly is the belief content of your belief?
Yeah, so I'm gonna just restate my
position. So the question wasn't whether you could reproduce gibberish. So the question was, what is going to be the belief? What is going to be the belief content of your belief that you're expressing?
He's a fucking retard, bro. Cannot.
So the question wasn't whether you can go on a short diatribe of uttering random slurs. So the question was, do you actually have the belief content that your belief is trying to represent? Do you want to defend that?
Yeah, all I'm defending is that abortion is morally wrong, dumbass.
Okay, gotcha. So we got a proposition. So you're gonna defend the proposition that abortion is what? Did you say morally wrong? Morally wrong. Gotcha. Morally wrong. So are you gonna be rendering an argument in light of that claim?
With an exception, dipshit, and the exception.
Sorry. So the exception is going to be when the mother's life is in danger, correct?
Yes. Wow. Good job, dumbass.
Wonderful. So do you have an argument to render in light of that claim?
Yeah, I do, bitch.
Okay. So what's going to be P1? Wonderful. Let's just type that out. Wait, so what's going to be P1?
So essentially, all I'm arguing is that what makes killing wrong is that it deprives the victim of a valuable future or future that's similar to ours.
Wrong is that it deprives what?
The victim of a valuable future.
The victim of a valuable feature. And what's going to be P2?
Yeah, and then a fetus has a future like ours. They can
A fetus has a future like ours. Already misusing flow. That's kind of embarrassing. Wait, what's going to be P3?
Therefore,
abortion is murder.
So I asked for P3, not the conclusion. So therefore is going to be what we call a conclusion indicator. We don't want in conclusion indicators because we're still at your premise. So are you saying that was all of your argument?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we're gonna write this out in the side chat. So do you understand why this is not deductively valid?
Hey God, this nigga isn't.
Sorry. So the question was, do you understand why this is deductively valid? We already went over when we were expecting a bivalent answer. We're not gonna be expecting an oh my God, right? And surely, I was being charitable enough to earlier to assume that you actually had, enough like mental comprehension and like skill IQ points to actually be able to, fathom such a concept. So let's not repeat our blunders and errors, right? Let's in fact try to move on from that. So to be clear, do you understand why this is not deductively valid?
Your favorite thing. You love talking. Shut the fuck up.
Sorry. And you love dodging, right? But we don't want to like reinforce your dodging ability because right now we're trying to actually give you a clear, cogent, and succinct answer. So to be clear, the question is, do you understand why this is not deductively valid?
Yeah. So.
Okay, so you do understand that, to be clear? You understand why this is not deductively valid?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, wonderful. So what we're going to be looking for is a deductively valid argument. So we're just going to erase all of these premises, and we're just going to start back at P1. So what's going to be P1, to be clear?
Robots who fucking talking deductively valid fucking arguments.
Oh, so that's going to be P1? Okay. Robot talking deducedly, I don't know what that word is, valid. What's going to be P2? Sorry?
You're a fucking dumbass. Shut your
fucking dumbass. That's gonna be P2. Fucking dumbass. Okay. And what's gonna be P3? Sorry, what's gonna be P3?
Shut up.
Shut up is P3. Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, that's just like an imperative. I'm sorry, that's not actually going to be a proposition. So we're gonna be looking for a proposition to substitute within our empty line of P3. So what's gonna be the proposition you're using to represent there? Sorry, silence is not going to satisfy the request I'm asking for, because assuming I'm asking for a proposition, I'm not asking for you to type in silence. So, what is actually going to be P3?
I'm sending the valid argument.
I'm putting the valid. The valid what?
Argument in chat.
Argument in chat. Okay, and what's going to be P4?
Look at chat, bro.
Look in chat. Well, this right here, which I'll just like, send in the chat, this is actually not going to be deductively valid argument either, which means you failed twice.
That I sent and not your retarded.
Oh, you were typing out a misformulation of it? Okay, let's see. Well, let's just read this out. So if what makes killing wrong is that it deprives the victim of a valuable future, then abortion is morally wrong. Oh, if what makes killing wrong is that it deprives the victim of a valuable future, see, therefore, so, yeah, this is not valid.
Oh my God. So I can't, like, debate niggas. Look at you now, bro.
Okay, there we go. So this is a bit more, like, at least this is, like, a bit more intelligible, because it seems there you actually left the if there in your antecedent that you're trying to reaffirm and instantiate in your premise, your second premise, but it's okay. So now that you took out the if word, thankfully you actually read it again. So you understand why this is also not going to be valid, correct?
This nigga's retarded.
Really?
Yeah, you're just wrong.
So you understand why this is not going to be valid, correct?
Wrong. No, it's literally valid. You're just wrong.
Oh, it literally is valid? Okay. So are you also taking that it's presumably sound, correct?
Yes, it's sound.
Okay, so what's going to be the argument in favor of P1?
Yeah, so... so whenever people
Sorry, I'm sorry, that's just not an argument, actually. So I was expecting, like, a coherent answer, actually something that's, like, English. So it's going to be the argument in favor of P1. They want to render out in light of the claim.
I'm lagging, hold on.
You're lagging? It's okay. So listen, the idea is, right, if you're saying, if what makes killing wrong, if you're saying what does make killing wrong is simply all that deprives, the victim of this valuable future, I'm not sure why that follows to the fact that abortion is wrong. In fact, I actually think that we would want some reason to believe this. Do you have a good reason to believe this?
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
My bad, I'm back.
Yeah, so the question was, do you have a good reason to believe that, killing is what makes something wrong? So sorry, if what makes killing wrong is depriving the victim of a valuable future, then abortion is morally wrong. I'm not sure how that follows.
look, bro. It's kind of just fucking like common sense. I don't have.
So common sense is not going to be a valuable feature and a good reason that we're looking for because you cannot really intuit a justified rationale for inferential justification, right? In fact, one would argue that you cannot intuit inferential justification. One argues that actually want to have some kind of, just some kind of data supporting this claim. So do you have data supporting this claim as in evidence in favor of this? Or do you want to render out a proof for this, which is in which you're going to just be rendering an argument? Because if you're not rendering that, then surely you're going to be referring to some kind of like non-amplitive reason, right? Unless you're also not rendering out anything deductive. To which I guess you can go the route of like giving some kind of like inference to the best explanation. You can render out like some abductive argument. I'm not sure you actually have one of those. Or you can even go the route of like, are you rendering out an inductive argument? To which, again, like all three options are available to you. Presumably you don't want to do that because presumably you want to give an argument. So we're actually, presumably we'd be looking for something non-amplitive, but like, again, like if you want to like reduce back to like an inductive argument or abductive argument, I'm actually fine with that. I'm just trying to like for any argument in favor of P1, do you actually have one of those?
No, if you can't even like think that's if you literally deny that being common sense, then we could just end the debate. I'm not arguing with you. You're a dumbass. Like.
So sorry. So to be clear, the question was, do you have an argument in favor of P1?
Yeah, I did. I literally said it.
Okay, so what's going to be the argument?
So we could just end the debate.
So sorry, the question wasn't whether you can run. The question was, do you actually have an argument in favor of P1?
I did, and you rejected it.
You did? Okay, so can you send it? Like, you do also have the capability of sending it?
No, I literally already told you.
So, sorry, you literally told me that you were going to run if I deny common sense being the case because of the fact that you didn't actually have an argument to render in light of that. But then you actually took that back and said you do have an argument to render in light of that. So we're just looking for the argument at the moment.
No, it's literally just common sense.
So, sorry. So it's literally just common sense is actually not going to be where you consider an argument. So to be clear, what do you think an argument is?
Like, look, I'm not going to be...
So the question was, what do you think an argument was? The question wasn't what you're going to do, right? The question was, what's an argument?
Abortion, murder.
I'm not going to give you premises.
So I'll just answer for you, right? It's fine. It's going to just be a short educational course. So typically, an argument is just going to be a series of premises in which they seek to justify a conclusion. Okay? Do you know what that means? Do you know what a premise is?
Abortion.
I'm literally telling you, I'm not going to give premises and all.
So sorry. So you're not going to give premises in your argument? Am I getting that clear?
Yeah, I'm literally telling you there's no debate.
Okay, so you're telling me you're going to run. Because to be clear, we are currently in a debate, and right now you actually are currently running away from me, which is not something that we actually want to see. That's actually something that's going to be very disappointing. So do you have an argument to render in favor of P1? That's just going to be simply yes or no.
Bro, you just proved you're a dumbass, bro.
Sorry. You just proved you're a hedging retard, right? To which I'm just going to start doing a victory lap around if you don't get your shit together. So the idea is really this. Do you have an argument to render out in light of P1? Yes or no?
Abortion and murder.
How did I hedge?
How did you hedge? Are you confused?
Abortion is murder.
Yeah, sure, I'll explain. So initially, you're actually trying to say something of the like that abortion is wrong purely because of the fact, that it simply deprives the victim of a valuable feature. And that's mainly the reason why. But it seems like now you want to say something like that. It seems now you want to say something like that. It's just more likely. It seems now you want to make sort of like a non-ampliative case, mainly because of the fact that, an ampliative case, my apologies, mainly because of the fact that you said that you didn't actually intend to give an argument. And typically I just establish logical arguments to be synonymous with deductive proofs, right? Now, if that's not the kind of thing you're giving, I already told you earlier that I'm fine with like you giving some kind of abductive analysis or like inductive analysis. That's fine with me. I'm not like nitpicky, but presumably I just want some kind of argument. So which one are you going to give?
Bro, I'm good, bro.
You said you're running? Sorry?
No, I said I'm good.
So if you're not running, so then what's going to be the argument?
No, I just said I'm good.
Sorry. So what's going to be the argument? The question wasn't if you're good?
Abortion is murder.
Sorry, to be clear, I didn't ask you if you could get lower, right? I know your confidence is running low due to the fact that, I'm not going to lie, I don't really have nothing to say. But yeah, what's it going to be for?
Abortion is murder.
Bro, I already told you like 5 fucking times, and it's not going.
That you're running? Is that what you told me?
No, bitch. I already told you.
You didn't tell me you're running, so you're not running. To be clear.
Since you can't like you.
Sorry, I don't know why you're stuttering. So what I asked you was, are you running? Yes or no?
If I'm stuttering, You have
Sorry. So the question wasn't whether you actually have some kind of attitude towards the behavior of you stuttering. So the question was whether you actually have an argument to render out in light of P1. Is that going to be a yes or no?
It's over, bro. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not.
Sorry, to be clear, I didn't ask if it was over, Dexter Morgan. What I asked you was, do you actually have an argument to render out in light of P1? That's going to be simple yes or no.
Bro.
To be clear, what do you think proof is?
So, what do I think? What?
Yeah, what do you think proof is?
I think proof is like a type of evidence.
So, what? Wait, to be clear, you think like proof is like a probabilistic device we use?
What?
So, okay, guys. Whoa, to be clear, what do you think evidence is?
Evidence?
Yeah.
There's a lot. Evidence means.
It's a lot? Yeah. But what do you think evidence is?
Evidence is a lot.
So to be clear, that is not going to be a satisfactory like definition of what evidence is. So listen. We're just looking for what kind of device do you think evidence is? Why do you think we use evidence? What do we use evidence for?
I don't really know.
You don't know? Well, typically evidence is just going to be some datum that tends to raise the credences towards a given claim, right? So typically we would say X is evidence for Y if, seemingly the existence of X or something about X, something is true of just X existing, in which if X were to be the case, Y would followingly at least be the case, or it would raise our credences, which is just our confidence in the claim to believe in Y, right? But you understand that proof is just going to be something different, right? Because proof is not dealing with probabilistic devices, right? Or sorry, proof is not a probabilistic device. Typically, when we refer to proof, that's just going to be synonymous with a deductive argument, a logical argument, in which usually we're going to be looking for a successful argument if the conclusion is just going to always be true in cases where the premises are true. In which we would just say that in a case where the premises are false, the conclusion can't possibly be true, and in a case where the conclusion is true, the premises can't possibly be false, right? It has to necessarily follow. But when we're dealing with things that necessarily follow, it's going to be something trivially different than what we're talking about probability. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, that's a unique definition of evidence.
Sorry. So that's actually going to be the conventional definition of evidence that we actually take. So if you think it's like idiosyncratic or like proprietary, you could like just cite out any kind of like person or proponent within literature of philosophy or contemporary philosophy. Sorry, that actually does use your definition. You could go.
I just told you myself.
So sorry, I said we were looking for a proponent, not an autistic 13-year-old. If I didn't make that clear enough. So do you have a proponent of contemporary philosophy that actually uses such definition?
Well, I'm not really autistic.
So the question wasn't whether you can nitpick about a fact about you in an attempt to actually defensively, evade away, right? I don't really care about your elusive tactics, right? Really, the question was if you actually have a proponent of contemporary philosophy, or any view of contemporary philosophy. I should probably stop saying of contemporary philosophy, but any particular view of contemporary philosophy that actually uses such in which they deal with probabilistic devices.
Yeah, myself.
So sorry, we didn't ask you again if an autistic 13-year-old who doesn't even understand probability uses the word this way.
Well, you're not getting you understand that, right? Because I'm not autistic or a 13-year-old, so you're kind of getting.
Okay, so are you saying you do understand probability of a good basis?
Okay. I mean, I do.
What's your favorite kind of probability?
Really how evidence works, right?
Actually, let's just like stick with something standard. So, Mono, if I had like 2 bags, right? Actually, let's just say I had 1 bag, and this 1 bag had, let's say it had 5 jelly beans. 4 of the jelly beans were blue, and 1 of them were yellow. So, what are my odds of selecting the yellow jelly bean?
I wouldn't really know because it's a bag.
wait. To be clear, there's only 5 jelly beans in there. We're only selecting 1 yellow, in which there's 1 yellow and 4 blue. You don't know the probability of selecting 1 yellow?
I mean, it seems like there's a lot of yellows and blues. So
okay, so to be clear, there's only going to be 1 yellow and 4 blues in a total of 5 jelly beans. What's the probability that I select a yellow jelly bean?
You might get unlucky and get the blue jelly bean.
So do you understand? So to be clear, so since we understand you don't understand basic middle school probability, what do you think probability is, Mana? You should like inform us more about your psyche.
So I think probability is just being more probable.
So to be clear, you think probability is the being more probable? And you think that was actually like a coherent and like intelligible answer? Just to be clear.
That's not what I said.
So first off, that is what you said. So now that you just admitted what you said was stupid, which is why you just tried to hedge what you said, I'll allow you to hedge. So what did you say?
So I said the being of being probable.
The being of being probable. So you just want to like analyze and like semantically reduce that gibberish for us so we can actually understand what you're saying so it doesn't sound like you're speaking Chinese? To be clear.
Yeah, so this is what they taught me in elementary. So there was this guy, and his name was Probability, and he was a being that made...
Okay, so we didn't really have time for, like, the trolling nonsense, right, since you don't understand basic probability. So, get this. The idea is, if you don't even understand the basic tenets of probability, why are you using words such as evidence? I don't really get it.
Well, I mean, under my definition of evidence...
So we're not asking about that. So, and to be fair, unless you're equivocating, because I was the one who initially invoked the word evidence, I'm not exactly sure what you mean or why your personal definition of it would matter. Especially if it's one that's idiosyncratic, which is just simply to say that it's not represented amongst most, like, folk common English speakers. I'm not really sure why this would be of any germane relevance.
I mean, it really isn't.
Or why it would be even salient within our conversation.
I mean, it's not used ever. I've never seen that in a philosophy.
So, sorry, so the claim wasn't that it's not used ever. The claim was that it's idiosyncratic and quite useless to the conversation we're having, and given the fact that I invoked the word first, you would simply be equivocating.
It is, and I just proved that there's like no...
So, sorry, you said you just gave a proof for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna give the proof.
Okay, so what's gonna be the logical argument?
Yeah, okay, so there was I have read a lot, like way more...
Wait, let me just write this down so we can track the gibberish. So, P1 is what?
You gotta be quiet, and then you gotta let me talk. So
I was asking a clarifying question. P1 is what?
Yeah, so be quiet, and I'll tell you. So yeah, I've read a lot more...
I just asked the question.
Yeah, shut up.
So it wouldn't be possible that you were telling me previously, yes, your mind reader.
Yeah, so I read a lot more philosophy books than you ever have.
A lot more philo
Within all of these
books than you have. And what's going to be P2?
Probability like this. The way they define probability is a sort of evidence that grants certain things within the things. No, sorry, not things, but within the certain number choices within numerical data. And so once this numerical data expands, right, and there's multiple sets within this numerical data, there will be an instance in which one of the propositions within this numerical data has a higher probability than another set within the set.
Wait, you just use probability in a way of defining probability.
No,
so to be clear, we're not looking for. So to be clear, wait, hold on. To be clear, I'm fine with an extensive definition if you don't actually have a good analysis. But what we're not going to be looking for is a circular definition, right? Unless you take probability to be something that's primitive, to which I would love to hear some kind of reason for.
I never said that. I said I'm defining.
Okay, so to be clear, since you're not saying that it's primitive, we're going to need a definition that doesn't invoke or reference the word you're trying to define.
Well, it's not because I'm defining probability.
Okay, so it's not. So what's the definition of probability, to be clear?
I was defining probable.
So to be clear, that just means you're off the point, right? Even though probable is just going to be a word extensive of the word probability. So to be clear, if you're defining probable, you're just going to be having to like disentanglably define probability in some sense, unless you're just using it in weird social context. But that is kind of besides the point. To be clear, just to be clear, we're just looking for a definition of the word probability. Right.
Nah, they're two completely different words that entail two completely different.
I mean, again, they're really not. At least not if what you mean by completely different is like conceptually divorced. That's just not going to be the case. But even then, just ignoring that terrible blunder you just made, we don't really have to focus on that. I just want a clear definition of probability. So what's it going to be?
Probability. Do you even know who J. James is, bro?
Sorry, I don't really care about who J.J. James is. I just want a definition of probability. Do you have that?
Abortion is murder.
Okay, so since you don't actually have a clear definition of probability, I mean, I'm just again not really clear on why you're using words that are invoked. Sorry, I don't even know why you're trying to use probabilistic devices if you don't understand the basic tenets of probability.
All probability is just when you have a numerical data set in which the numerical data says there is more than the other, and therefore it will be more.
What does it mean to have more of a numerical data set than another claim?
There's more ones than there is fives, and there's more.
That there's more ones than there is fives? Well, if there's more ones than there is fives, I'm not really sure how we're using that to deduce how another claim is more probable than another. So maybe we'll just ask you this so you don't have to gibber about things about too often. So to be clear, what do you think it means to say that X what do you think it means to say that let's say some given claim X has a stronger probability of obtaining than some claim Y? Or some, I guess, you could replace the word claim with event, I guess. That probably would be more accurate, but yeah.
I didn't really listen to what you said.
Okay, so that's okay. So when I say that, like, so when I say something like this, right, just look in chat. When I say, like, H given Y is, like, of a stronger probability than, like, H given, I don't know, given Z. What do you think that means in chat?
Yeah, I think that just means that Y is over Z because of the numerical database, which I just told you. So
the numerical database? Well, to be clear, you said data set, and even previously to that, you just said numerical data and which sets would be invoked in that. So that was the third time that you've redefined your definition, to be clear. But even better, you don't even have to embarrass yourself like that, because that's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking, how would we determine H to be more probable given Y comparatively to H given Z? How do we determine this?
I just told you when there's more ones than fives.
Okay, and what does that mean?
That means there's more ones of.
Sorry, I didn't ask you to repeat yourself. What does it mean for there to be more ones than fives?
I mean, if you could count and like past like.
Sorry, to be clear, the question was not if you can give a conditional. The question was, what exactly does it mean for there to be more ones than fives in this particular instance? And how exactly does this have any sort of relation to deducing whether something is more probable than another?
Somebody who hasn't passed the first grade.
Sorry. So the question wasn't whether you can go on a diatribe, or like unload like a bunch of like useless meta commentary that's just ironic and poor. The question was, how do we deduce when it's more probable than the other?
already told you. Want to conclude?
So again, you haven't, right? What you told me is that we would say is that there's probably more ones than fives. To which you haven't even said whether this is indexed to h given y or h given z. But presumably you'd be saying h given y if you're saying this is how we determine h given y is of a stronger probability than h given z, which is fine. But the only question that really remains is, what does it mean for there to be more ones than fives indexed to h over y?
I'm done.
And what was the answer?
I've beaten your ass like 3 times.
Sorry, to be clear, the question wasn't whether you can lie and gibber it out of your ass. The question was, what exactly was your answer?
I literally told you.
You literally didn't. So you literally keep reproducing the same thing, and you literally keep dodging. So the question is literally, can you explain more specifically, Mana, what does it mean for there to be more ones than fives indexed to h given y? Can you literally do that, please?
Yeah, I literally will, bro.
So you literally already didn't, and we literally just went over why you didn't. So can you literally just explain the answer to me? Because I think all of the VC would literally love to hear it.
Give me 1 second to talk, but
we'll go ahead. Go ahead.
So all it literally means is that when you count the ones and the fives, there will be more ones than fives. Do you want to?
So where are we counting ones and fives at within the specific h given y scenario?
I mean, dumbass. Do you want to conclude?
So sorry. The question was, where are we counting this at?
With your brain. I already told you.
So you understand, with my brain is just going to be referring to what mechanism or tool or object I can use to count, correct? If you understand, the question was not what mechanism, tool, or organ we can use to count. The question was, where are we counting these things?
It depends on the scenario.
So sorry, we're not asking what it depends in, right? But to be clear, we are referring to being indexed to h over y, which it's still in the VC chat, in case you lost your mind on that. So you haven't already done this because this is a new question I just reintroduced to you. So that's not going to fly either. So again, the question was, where in h given y does this actually fit? Where are we counting more ones than fives?
Literally told you, do you want to conclude?
You literally already did it. I know you literally begged me to conclude because you literally are running, right? I completely understand that. But we're not really interested in you running, though. I'm just interested in where this is at.
So hy, the variable represents...
What's hy?
Yeah, this thing you sent in chat. So that variable...
That doesn't say hy.
Really? So there isn't an h and then...
So to be clear, in math, hy would be represented like this. Do you understand what this symbol is right here in chat? What this means? Yeah. When you separate two variables?
Yeah.
What?
It's a line.
So, to be clear, that's not just a line, and I asked what it means, not what the syntax is.
Oh,
so we're referring to like some kind of like semantic basis, or for you to like maybe describe the analyticity of it. Maybe that'll also help.
Yeah, it just means h and y.
So, no, that's actually not referring to a conjunctive operator. Do you want to try again?
Well, how I defined it, it is.
So, sorry, so we're not asking about how you define it or if you can equivocate. The question was, what do you think this means in chat?
It's either a line
Okay, since you fail to answer for the 4th time, I'll just explain it to you. It just means given. So when we say, for example, like x, with this dash of y, you're just saying x given y. Okay, so to be clear, now that we understand that, so how does counting more ones than fives fit into h given y? In which, once we've counted more ones than fives in h given y, it is of a stronger probability than h given z.
Yeah, so I'm gonna repeat it one more time, right? So
what you're not going to do is repeat gibberish, because you haven't previously answered. What you're gonna do is try to come up with a good answer and a satisfactory answer, so we're not all bored here. Do you have that?
Yeah, so x given y, so that would just mean that within the context in which x givens y, x...
So the question wasn't what x given y means. The question actually was in reference, right, to h given y, right? We're simply going to ask, what exactly does counting more ones than fives fit into this picture? Right.
Yeah, so in this picture, it would mean that h given fucking y has more database and more sets than...
What does it mean to have more database and sets?
It means you have more ones or more variables.
So you're referring to it having more ones and more variables? Okay, so why is it exactly increasing in ones and variables?
Because that's kind of how counting works.
Sorry. So the question wasn't whether you can beg the question and just say this is how counting works. We want an inference that deduces to this. Explain what's the relevance. Sorry, not deduces, follows too. I should probably stop saying that.
Bro, I'm sorry, but I can't teach you math.
So sorry. To be clear, you don't understand, nor do you have a good adequate analysis of math, given the fact that in our previous scenario to which we had 5 total jelly beans within a bag, and I asked you if there's only 4 blue jelly beans or there's only 1 jelly bean, what would be the probability of getting out 1 of the yellow jelly beans, to which you didn't actually have an adequate answer, which means you don't even have an adequate account of probability at a basic 6th grade level. So to be clear, you are the one that's mentally impoverished based on mathematical analysis. But that isn't actually something that we have to follow on because we already acknowledged and granted the fact that you're autistic. So the question was not that. The question was, how exactly does counting more ones than zeros, or sorry, increasing the ones and variable database in your own language, how exactly does this fit into the picture of deducing whether h given y has a stronger probability than h given z? Do you have an answer to that?
Yeah, let's move on, bro. You lost.
So the question wasn't whether you can run, right? And I really don't want you to keep like admitting that you're running because this is just getting really, really pathetic now. Really what I'm asking you is if you actually have some reason or some inference that leads to the fact that when you increase the quote-unquote ones and variables within the database, to which prior we're actually just counting more ones than fives, I'm asking how exactly does this fit into the picture of probability? Probabilistic analysis is what I mean to say.
So I slammed the shitty ass nigga into.
Sorry. So the question wasn't whether you can go on a diatribe and cope. So the question was, do you have an answer?
And within these 2 seconds.
Sorry. The question was, do you have an answer? So that's going to simply be a yes or no. We already went over what bivalency is earlier. I hope I don't have to reiterate the point.
Prove to know that he knows math.
Sorry. Prove to know what?
That you.
Why would I have to prove anything? I'm not making any propositions, nor did I claim that I could give a proof for any of the conclusions that I'm making.
Yeah, we can tell, buddy. You can't count.
Sorry. So to be clear, the question wasn't whether you can tell things, because I understand your observational analysis and optic analysis is not going to be one that's satisfactory, even of the basic 12-year-old of your caliber. Right? We're not really asking that. So we don't really care or value about your analysis. What we're asking is this: do you actually have an answer to the question that I've been posing to you for the past 5 minutes now? If you don't, then I mean that's completely fine. You can keep dodging, running, and embarrassing yourself, but that's not really what we're interested in.
It's done, bro. I'm out.
So you said you're out and you're running? To be clear?
Yep.
And you don't have an actual answer?
Nope, GG, you got something, bro.
Oh, sorry. So you're saying you're not running. Okay, so we're going to go back to the initial question. What's actually going to be the answer?
I already did. GG.
Okay, so real quick, can you just reproduce the question? Oh, sorry, he ran. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now